How's my brothers and sisters? Recently, I was asked a question, and the question was, what position should an individual play within Wotanism or Odinism? And the question on the surface seems reasonable. It seems a reasonable question to ask. But when we look deeper into the question, it makes us wonder, why would a person have to ask that type of question? If you embraced Wotanism or you embraced Odinism, then you should already know your position. And you should already know the things that you wanted to accomplish upon embracing Wotanism or Odinism. And the more that I thought about this, and the more that I talked to several brothers and several sisters about it, the more I realized that a lot of people are embracing Wotanism and Odinism, and they truly don't know why they're doing it. And in many cases, they're doing it because it's what their friends are doing, or they like the symbols, they like the signs, they like the fact that they can be looked at as following the Norse gods, or whatever have you that comes with being a Wotanist or an Odinist. And the first thing that I would say is that when a person embraces Odinism or Wotanism, the very first thing they should be embracing, and the very first reason that they should be embracing it, is to change their life, to change their outlook. In other words, embracing Wotanism or Odinism should be first and foremost for the evolving of the mind. And what do I mean by evolving of the mind? I recently put a post out, as a matter of fact, this morning, in which I made a statement that Wotanism is about the evolving of the mind. And what that means is that many of us were raised with different concepts. Many of us came from the skinhead movement. We came from gangs. And when we embrace Wotanism or Odinism, in many cases, we bring that mentality with us. And the first thing that has to be understood is that Wotanism changes that which comes before it. It means that Wotanism and Odinism set out to change the mindset of the individual that embraced it. And it does this by instilling within him or her the right concept of how to live our lives, how to be in tune with nature, how to treat our women, how to treat those of other races. But what happens is that a clash takes place. And that clash is between Wotanism and the old way of thinking. And one of the major problems that we see within Wotanism and Odinism is that there is a lot of gang-banging mentality that is being brought within it. And this, in many cases, puts a bad reflection on Wotanism or Odinism, because we bring the concepts that we held, we bring the language that we used, and we bring that into something that is pure. And rather than it being a positive tool, in many cases it becomes negative. And people look about that, and they look upon that, and they say, well, I really don't want nothing to do with that, because look at them. All they do is propagate hatred. They use language that is unbefitting of a conscious man or a conscious woman. So Wotanism, Odinism seeks to change what comes before it. Means it seeks to change the mentality of the individual that embraces it. And it wishes to instill within the individual, man or woman, the proper outlook and give him the proper understanding in which he can first benefit himself. When we look at Wotanism or Odinism, we see that it's broke down into like 3 categories. The first is self, the second is family, and the third is folk or tribe. And the reason why it's really broke down like that is because it wishes to instill a evolution within man, within the family, and within his tribe or his kindred or even society. Because in order for a man to be beneficial to his tribe, kindred, or his race, he has to be beneficial to his family. But in order for him to be beneficial to his family and educate his family, he has to be willing to educate himself first. So the first door to Wotanism is the educating of self. And once this takes place, once the mindset of the individual has changed, and once his outlook on himself has changed, then it better prepares him to be able to educate his family. And that becomes the most important part, because the education of the family is what makes this individual a better man or better woman, because that person has understood that his family is a reflection of him. If he reflects negativity, if he reflects a slave mentality, then this is what his family will reflect. And if his family is reflecting that, then automatically the tribe, the kindred, even the race, if you want to use that, they will also begin to reflect that. So this is why Wotanism is considered a way of life that is based upon the evolving and evolution of the man or woman. Now, the individual that asked the question in sincerity. And it's really a question that a lot of people need to ask themselves. What is your position within Wotanism or Odinism? Before you can save your race, before you can unify with other tribes or with other groups, you first have to unify your mindset with the unifying that Wotanism or Odinism hands. This is why one of the most popular guides for Wotanists or Odinists is the Havamal. Because within the Havamal, from the first stanza to the last stanza, the Havamal really deals with the individual. It deals with how we are supposed to really act and think when it comes to following our gods and following our goddesses. Because we have to remember, we become a reflection of our gods, of our goddesses, and we become a reflection of our ancestors. The knowledge that our gods and goddesses and the examples that our ancestors handed us, it must evolve with each generation that embraces this way of life. They bring with it an evolution of what our ancestors handed us. It brings an evolution of what our gods and our goddesses gave us. So let us, as Wotanists and Odinists, let us spend every moment of our life evolving. Let us spend every moment of our life trying to evolve our families. And let us spend every moment of our life trying to evolve our tribes and our kindreds. And one of the things that I see within this is, in many cases, our focus is beyond our control. I know there's a lot of people who want to save all the white people they can save. And in many cases, this is a good outlook. But once you put everything in its proper perspective, then your journey becomes easier. And what I mean by that is, focus on the things that are at your hands. Focus on things that you have control over. Like, you have control over yourself. You have control over your family. And in many cases, you have control over your tribe. You have control over your kindred. As one of my brothers always says to us in Gallows Tree, he says, you're either progressing or you're regressing. There is no in between. You're either proactive or reactive. There is no in between with that. Focus on what we can focus. Let's help evolve ourselves. Let's evolve our families. And then let's evolve our tribes and our kindreds. And from there, the evolution continues. It will be progressive. And then once these three elements are in their proper order, so to speak, then they become a reflection for other people to see. And if these three elements are doing what they're supposed to do, then they will attract like-minded people. And then from there, it continues. It continues. It continues. To continue means to continue to evolve. I know there's people that say we need a revolution. Revolution means to go back. We don't need to go back. We need an evolution. We need to move forward. We need to continue to grow and develop as individuals, as families, as tribes, as kindreds, as nations. With that said, I won't keep you with the 20-minute videos like I normally do. But I only wanted to express something that was asked to me. With that, hail Gallows Tree, and hail all those brothers and sisters who continue to evolve. Helsa, and that is it.